reading in Matthew said that if one part of the body, which they were talking about the physical body, your hand or your eye, doesn't work or causes you to sin, you should cast it out. Personal opinion, I happen to disagree with that, because if we cast out everything that didn't work, we wouldn't be a complete body together. So, if you'll forgive me a moment while I manage our technical situation.
And she says it's easy to be a clicker. I don't think
Today's a complicated day. Yeah. No, this generally is easy. I've seen this movie literally a dozen times, and that scene still gets me every single time I see it. And that's from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's the first book of Harry Potter. And I'm sure a lot of you are asking, why is Harry Potter in church? But if we think back to our 1 Corinthians reading this morning, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, our trio, are trying their best to keep this stone called the Sorcerer's Stone, which has the power to do great good or great evil, away from the dark side. And as we can see, they have to go across this chessboard to get to where the stone is to keep it away from the bad guys. And it's pretty hard. But we see that it takes the skills of Ron's chess playing, because neither Harry or Hermione are very good at it. Hermione's logic to understand everything in balance, and Harry's nerve and courage to help them accomplish their purpose. Each person in this chess game has a reason to be there, and they need to work together in order to get it accomplished. What would have happened to our trio if they had each gone and done their own independent thing? I don't think the outcome would have been good. Paul, in our reading from 1 Corinthians, has written a letter to the Jesus community in Corinth, which is located in modern-day Greece, and was a center for the arts and politics and shipbuilding, kind of like a New York City of today, but with less diversity. But still a great amount. So with lots of people come a variety of ideas and ways of being and practices, religious and otherwise, and with lots of ideas and lots of different people come conflict. And I mean, we're all strangers to conflict. It doesn't happen in our lives, right? No one here has conflict? No, I didn't think so. The Corinthians of the Jesus community have split. Those who follow Paul and those who follow Apollos are each doing separate things. And they're in turmoil because you could have your mother and your sister over here, but your father and your brother over here. The fracture comes to Paul's knowledge, and he reminds them that they need to be mature Christian people and not children in their faith. He continues to verbally chastise them, saying that Paul happens to be the one who planted the seeds for the community, and that Apollos, who was a contemporary of Paul's who went on missions for the Jesus movement, watered the seeds that Paul had planted. But neither Paul nor Apollos is any good to anyone without God, because God is the one that makes the seeds grow, builds the foundation on the house, and makes all things possible. In the midst of conflict, we often get caught up in thinking that our way is so right and the only way that we refuse to think about any other possible ways that things could get done. Our original purpose for laying down a foundation becomes lost to us, and we start arguing about the details, getting bogged down in trivial things that are not furthering the mission of Jesus. Paul goes on in the next paragraph, which was not in our reading, to say, with the grace that was given to him freely by God, he, like a skilled craftsman, building a house, built the foundation, but understands that someone else builds upon that. No one can lay a foundation other than the one that was built, that is laid, for that foundation is Jesus. We have the foundation, as you saw when we made our house, to build upon, that will not waver, for it is not sinking sand, and it welcomes what we have to offer to it. Some of us want to add flowers, some of us want to add wallpaper, some of us want to make sure there's a really comfy couch and a coffee maker. We're all needed to make sure that the house becomes a home. Like Ron, Hermione, and Harry, we cannot fully function in community that God intends us to be without one another. The one who plants and the one who waters have a common purpose. They're God's servants working together. Paul tells the Corinthians that he is not in competition with Apollos, but that each person's task is part of what it takes to serve God in the bigger picture, in the global house. In the church, people may have different jobs, like teaching, cooking, cleaning, counting money, messing with technology, yet everyone is working together for God's purposes, not our purposes. If we do not seek to build up a community where each gifts and graces are valued, we're going to end up on a chessboard. But unlike Ron, Hermione, and Harry, we aren't going to know how to play. And surely, if we don't know and understand what God's purpose is for us, the great things that God has planned for us aren't going to happen. Not every one of us knows how to play chess. I don't. Or balance the checkbook. Don't know how to do that either. But I know that there's people out here that know how to do those things. Think of those in the communities that you are part of. Church, your school, your job, the place you shop at regularly, the people you may pass when you get your coffee every morning. Is there someone that you know who has gifts and graces that may not yet have been given the dirt to be planted in? Might you be the one that God is asking to help provide the water and the dirt so that the gift can grow and be grown by God? Without Ron and Hermione, it's not possible for Harry to continue, and he cannot physically play 3 chess spaces alone. Nor does he have the skill for chess or the level-headedness of Hermione to see this all in balance. But the 3 of them, working in concert with one another, see each other's strengths and empower them to live up to their strengths. As heirs of the communities that Paul has set up throughout the Mediterranean, and I would even say, well, yeah, we're heirs of them now, that if we do not only know our own gifts and graces, the ones that we hold within us, but don't see those that the community has, we're not really living up to what God has for us. We may not have to battle on an epic scale like our trio did in our clip, but we're all working to keep the good in the forefront of a world that so often seems thrown into chaos, confusion, and dark. Paul simply asks us to be bold, not really a simple thing, but to live in a community where we can stand together, empowering each other with our own gifts and graces, and acknowledging and nurturing and watering and planting the seeds of other people so that we can together keep hope, keep love, keep kindness, keep justice, and keep the concern about the welfare of the entire community, the entire house, always first in our hearts. Amen.